with your host Sean Myrie, live and direct. This episode, we're going to be talking P. Diddy VS Keefe D. If you know anything about the Tupac murder case, there's all these conspiracies over the years, people talking about stuff about Tupac, how he died and who killed him. A lot of speculation. Now, the reason we're talking about this now because individual has been apprehended, arrested a couple of months ago, and that's Keefe D, right? Keefe D is a California Compton Crip. I guess he was a leader, right? And he was one of the individuals that night when Tupac Shakur got killed. He was in the vehicle driving, well, not driving, one of the passengers. I'm not really sure of all the details fully who was driving, but he was in the vehicle, right, with the other individuals. Okay, now, I'm talking about Puff Daddy. That's what his name was. Well, he keeps changing it. Sean Puffy Combs versus Keefe D. So, let's go back in time. So, 1994 was the first shooting, well, the first time Pac got shot. Quad Studios, New York City, right? New York, East Coast. That was the time when Tupac and Biggie was cool. 1994, they were all good with Puffy. They were all cool. Everybody was cool at one point. When that shooting happened, right, in 1994, everything changed from that time. So, before 1996, before all that big East Coast, West Coast beef, people should think of 1994 Quad Studios, Tupac getting shot. So after that shooting, right, things built up. Tupac blamed Puffy from those times. That's almost 2 years before he was murdered. Think of it. 2 years before he was murdered. So the almost 2 years of beef was going on. We didn't have social media like at that time really. So a lot of things was going on, right? So during this time, Puffy's getting big, traveling and everything, and he had to go to California. And this is before, I'm talking about before 96, about 94, 95. He was traveling, doing his thing, promoting Notorious Biggie, right? So where this relationship starts now with Keefe D is Keefe D being his security when he goes to California, paying Keefe D to protect him. And I don't think it was just one time. I don't think it was just a one-time thing, because ever since that 1994 shooting in outside, downstairs, in Quad Studio, right? Ever since that time, Tupac blamed Puff Daddy and whoever's associated with Puff Daddy. So when he had to go, when Puffy had to go to California, he didn't feel too safe going down there without protection. So who did he have to go to? He went to this individual, Keefe D, right? Because he knew that Tupac was associated with Suge Knight, which Suge Knight is associated with the Peru Crip, Bloods. Right? I'm gonna be taking you through this, right? He's associated with the Bloods. So he needed to balance the battleground, if you call it like that. He had to balance it, right? Because Suge Knight, he got his thing going on in California. So he needed some type of protection. So it wasn't just that what people are talking about in the media, he just paid him for a hit, just a hit. Because Keefe D been talking for a while, for these last couple of years, been going on platforms, getting interviewed, basically ratting on himself, or, That's what happened. He thought he had immunity or something like that, but he basically ratted on himself, right? And been admitting a lot of things to the authorities. So, like I'm saying, there's been a lot of beef from 94 before 96. Some of it's probably not even documented, right? And there's been beef from those times. If not before that, and maybe even before that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because there's stories of Suge Knight, like I'm saying, of Puffy's bodyguard, Wolf. Now I'm getting this correct. Wolf. And a story of Suge Knight, who was very close to the BMF, Big Meech, that time when people were like, going touring, and the story, they would go to Atlanta, and there was some type of situation between both camps, and Puff Daddy, longtime friend, security, got murdered, and they blame basically the other side, which is Suge Knight's side. You get what I mean? They blame that side. That's what I've been hearing recently. But now, if you want to fast forward it to 1996, right? When the beef got even more big because Hit 'Em Up was coming out, right? Hit 'Em Up, big message to Biggie and Puffy, right? Around those times, Puffy became probably more nervous, and the whole story was coming out. He paid Keefe D, which he knew before 96, paid him some money, right, for a hit. That's what's coming out. Keefe D's locked up in jail right now, or prison, and he's been talking. Recently, he had a big outburst in the court system, basically, criticizing the judge, criticizing a lot of things, right? Someone tried to bail him out recently. It did not work. It was rumored it was Whack 100, a popular social media influencer. He says he's associated with the Bloods, right? That didn't happen. So Keefe D, he's still in prison, and this case is going on right now. But in 1990, let's get this correct, because a lot of things was going on. 1996, right? I guess the Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas, right? This is how it kicked off, or this could be the camouflage. An individual who, maybe it could have been a couple months or a couple weeks, who robbed a death row chain from one of the death row associates, right? I don't know if he beat him up, all the details, but they robbed someone who was associated with Suge Knight. I'm talking about Keefe D's nephew, right? Crips. That same Las Vegas night, right? The Mike Tyson fight, they seen this individual, Orlando Anderson, Babyface Lane, that's his nickname,